Hello, this is Becca from Willow Hill Designs, and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is doing well and enjoying whatever season you're in. We are having fall right now here, and I love it. It is my favorite time of the year. Um, but anyway, today I'm here to share my Roxy's Journal of Stitchery Volume 4, and the prompt was something found. So let me just move this. And this is my hexagon. In the last video, I shared my mom's button box, which has not only buttons, but other little treasures in it. And so I was looking through there, and I was also looking through some of my own little treasure boxes. I have little shaker boxes about like this size that have treasures in them, and my little grandchildren actually asked to look through my treasures. So I also went in my little treasure boxes, and I found several things. I thought I would just pick one thing, but I found several, and I decided to use them all and put them on this hexagon, which is what my project will be consisting of, hexagons. And so here we have this main little piece here that jumps out at you is this little girl. I'm not sure who gave her to me, but I had her pinned up on my design wall upstairs, and I just happened to see her, and I love her. I thought she was just so cute. I think she was something you would put on a Christmas package. So I decided to put her on here. And these little pins here, these safety pins, one of my daughters, one of my girls, I have twin girls, and one of them made this back in the day when they were making friendship pins, and somehow this one got left behind, and so that went in my treasure box. So I included that, and I'm guessing from the colors it might be Jennifer, but I'm not positive because she loved blue. It could have, maybe it might not have been, I'm not sure. So that had to go on here. And another little thing, this is something that I found. I've had these for years, and they're stamped muslin, and I just loved that. I just thought it was kind of a nice vintagey touch to all of this. Most of these things here are vintage. And over here is a pin that was my mother's, and my mother loved to wear pins. That was something we kids always bought her and my dad. She wore them on her scarves or her dresses, and so this is a pin that was my mom's, and the clasp had broken off the back. So I thought that was perfect to just add here. This was a hexagon. Is that right? Oh no, pentagon. And I was experimenting with fabric folding. I think it was Rami Kim, and I had done a few of her fabric folding little exercises. So this was a pentagon that I had folded from some satin ribbon, and that was also up on my design wall. So I took that, and this little cloth covered button. I love these, so I included that. This is a button from my own button box, just because I thought it needed a little touch of something here, because I wanted to put these berries on. These were in my mom's button box, and these were berries that we always put out at the holidays. In particular, I remember putting them around a special, very special Christmas candle. So I just stitched these down, and the button kind of covers where the wire is looped. The wire is looped around in a circle, and that's couched down, and then I put the button over that. This is also something from my mom's button box. She had some thread wrapped around a piece of paper, and it was actually, this was inside out. So I took the thread off and just wanted to see what was on the inside, and these were some of the images. So I rewrapped the thread, and I thought that was interesting because this color went with the wool hexagon that is behind all of this. And so I included that, and I just tacked it down in 4 corners. And this little button was from my childhood. My brother was a teenager, and he had ordered this for me when I was a little girl. The twist was a big thing, and he had ordered this button for me, so I wanted to include that. And this is new. This is not something old, but I was out shopping with my daughter and granddaughter and their family, and I found this, and I just loved this. I thought it was so cute. It's a little book, and it opens. There's nothing in it yet. If I can find something very tiny to put in there, I will. So that's a little book, and I love that. I thought it kind of went with the whole theme of this. And on the background, this is a, see if I can show you some of it. This is a wool hexagon that I cut out, pretty colored wool. It's kind of the color of this thread. And I cut this hexagon out to use as a base, and because these things are, they're not washer friendly, any of them. So I thought I would sew all of these objects to this hexagon base, which I covered with this beautiful lace that I had gotten from, I think it's called Indigo Rose and Company on Etsy, and she's in South Africa, and she sells little pieces, maybe 12 inches of vintage lace. And it's just, her lace is beautiful. It's expensive, but beautiful. So this is a piece of that vintage lace that I put over this sort of a, well, I don't know what color blue, maybe a cornflower blue or cadet blue hexagon. And I just thought it gave a vintage feel. And lastly, around the edge, so as I was saying, this is just tacked on the corners. This hexagon is just tacked in a few places. So this can be snipped off if this has to be washed at some point in time. So this is not on here permanently. That's why I can lift up this edge. It's just tacked on here, and they can be snipped. The quilt can be washed, and then this can be stitched back on or tacked back on. And lastly, I added this embroidery around the edge. It actually makes me think kind of a Scandinavian or a Dutch design. That wasn't my intention, but that's what it makes me think of now. And so I just really did straight stitches, a longer one in the middle and then 2 shorter, and went around. I didn't plan anything, so it's really not quite even. And then I added some little French knots in a red color to kind of pick up the reds in her dress and this thread and the berries and this Let's Twist. I thought that would kind of tie everything in together. So I just put these French knots here in 3 places, not too many to overwhelm it. And lastly, I added these pearls. This was a little bag of pearls that was sent in an Etsy order, I think. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. I may have clipped that from some lace that I didn't want the sequins and the pearls on. Well, either way, I found this little, so that was something else found. I found this little bag, maybe 2 inches, and it had these pearls and sequins and little crystal beads in there. So I just, where these 2 little stitches, straight stitches, joined together, I stitched these pearls just to give it sort of another little extra look of maybe, I don't know, something vintage. So this is my hexagon for something found, and I'll give you a close-up. And I've started laying out where these hexagons will go on that vintage piece of quilt that I have. I bought this on Etsy for one of the prompts that Rachel and Sarah had given us back. I don't know if it was volume 2 or 3, and I bought this little piece of quilt thinking I would cut a piece of it and use it in that project. And when I saw it, I just couldn't cut it. I could not cut into it. This little woman, whoever she was, had all of this is done by hand, and I am almost positive these are 1930s fabrics. I would bet that they are 1930s fabrics. Some of them have fractured, but most of them are still there, and you can see them, and it's all hand stitched. And then her quilting, there's hand stitched quilting on there as well. I don't know if you can see that, but I mean, it's just so beautiful. It was already cut when I got it, but I could not cut a piece of it. So I thought I'll keep this little piece of quilt, and I did put some lace on this edge. It's a rectangle. It was a long piece, and I sewed the two pieces together, and they are joined by this piece of lace here. But you can see it had a scalloped edge on the quilt. The edge is scalloped, and there's very little left of that edge. It's been worn. It's been loved and worn. So I decided I would start. We have enough hexagons here that I can start putting them on this old quilt, this piece of vintage quilt. So that's what I've done, and I'll raise this up a little bit. Hold on, maybe close your eyes. I don't want to make anyone dizzy. I'll just try to bring this up a bit so that you can see. Whoop. Okay, hopefully that's a little better. So I have started stitching. I'm not stitching, just pinned them on. This is catching down here. I started pinning them on, and this is kind of the order that I have decided, or temporarily decided on. And it's funny how, you know, I really hadn't intended to have a color theme, but it does seem that there is a theme here of colors. And this new one could probably go here. It could probably go next to our nature hexagon. Or it could even go up here next to the cigarette silk that shows the king that my grandfather was in the honor guard for that king. So it could even go up here next to him. I think that those colors also kind of relate nicely to each other. So that's kind of the layout I'm looking at right now. And I do have some fabrics that I'm thinking about using for these diamonds that form in between. I was thinking of maybe something neutral, or I was even thinking of something with writing on it. I have some other pieces that I've chosen, but maybe something like that. Although I like this one. This is a William Morris fabric. I kind of like this one. This one picks up a lot of the colors and the hexagons, so there may be some diamonds of this fabric, or a mixture of, I kind of love this pink. This is a vintage piece of Robin Pandolf fabric that I made a quilt for my first grandchild out of that, so that's kind of pretty. That may go in the diamonds, and I'd like to add some pieces of lace. I have this lace. This isn't the piece. There are other pretty flowers, but I was thinking I may put a piece of lace in the center of each of these diamonds. So that's a thought too, whenever I decide on the colors for these background diamonds. And I will be adding lace. I'll just take this off. I will be adding lace to the other edges. This is how it was cut, and it was one very long piece. I'm guessing the width of the quilt, and I took those two pieces and stitched them together to make a larger rectangle, not a long thin one, but a larger rectangle. And I'll also be adding lace to this edge down here, but I won't square off her original scallop on the edge. I'm not going to square that off at all. I want to leave that intact, but I will be adding lace similar to this. I don't think I have anything that matches this, but I will be adding other laces on this. So the little quilt, this little, I don't know what I'll call it, but it's going to be just a little quilt, a throw in my sewing room. And I will honor this beautiful, I wonder if I can turn this over. I should. It's a double wedding ring quilt, if you can see this. And I mean, I don't know, I grew to admire this person so much because of the work, the extraordinary work that she put into this quilt, and the time to quilt this tiny, I mean, her stitches are tiny and perfect. I don't know if you can see them there. They're just tiny and perfect. And I just thought, you know, I didn't want to cut it up other than it's already been cut. But I thought I'd like to honor her beautiful the little piece of her quilt that I have. I'm sure it was a beautiful quilt when she originally had done it. So that is where I stand right now. I'm actually ahead. We have not gotten the new prompt, so I can work on something else, some other hand stitching. But anyway, so this is my found hexagon that will be added to the others. So thank you for joining me today. I'm wishing you many blessings, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. I thought I would quickly share the treasure boxes that I had mentioned in my video. These are the shaker boxes that my grandchildren love to look through. These are beautiful boxes. The workmanship in them is just amazing. Really, really beautiful boxes. I love these. My brother actually bought these for each of us. They're beautiful boxes. This one has some of my mom's old Timex watches in there that she saved. Oddly enough, she saved them some bands that had broken, so those are a treasure that I keep. These are some of my little treasures, and I mean, there's things in here like a skeleton key. This was from mine and my husband's first apartment when we first got married, and he was the nicest man, but the door locked with a skeleton key. I couldn't believe it. This is not secure. And my little granddaughter made this for me. She had these beads, and these are some of my flowers, and she made that and said I could have it. A little toy wrench, a piece of a wind chime, that was my mother's. This is a little note from my granddaughter. Some things made of Play-Doh. Good old Play-Doh. We're still playing with Play-Doh here. This is an actual shell from a fossil that we found while hiking. a sinker from my husband and I fishing. When we'd fish, sometimes he'd put those sinkers if we were trolling the bottom. A fairy from my granddaughter. A whale from one of my daughters from the coast. Some ceramic flowers. A token. I mean, some little glass grapes from a little piece of red glass we found out in the backyard. Another token. An arrowhead, a pretty button. Just silly little things that I keep in here, but they're treasures to me, and my grandchildren love to look at these things. So this is a request usually that I get. Can we look at your treasures, Naughty? And here's another one. This one actually has a tea set in here, a whole tea set. This was my mom's. I think this was from Woolworth's back in the day. And some little trinkets from gumball machines when I was little that I managed to save. Those are little treasures. Whoops. A bobbin from my grandmother's treadle machine. Some more Play-Doh. I just got fresh Play-Doh for the kids. My granddaughter made this. This was a little doll from a dollhouse that I still have, actually, that dollhouse. Smokey the Bear. I think this was a little pin or something. I'm not sure what that was from. I love this old button. This is one of the shank buttons, and it had rhinestones, but they're gone. I almost put this on my little page there. From my husband's National Rifle Society. Oops. That was upside down. Some rose hips from the Cape. I love rose hips. I like to save them and dry them. I just think they're interesting in a bowl with other little things. A button from a coat. One of my mom's earrings. And these are part of that little tea set that my granddaughter loves to look at. Oh, and my little granddaughter just gave me that too. And an angel that came in the mail. Some more tokens. And a little pliers again. It actually opens and closes from the gumball machine. So these are the little treasures that they love to look through. And my one little granddaughter invariably always gets a very sad face if there's something that she would like to keep. And I tell her, well, I'd like to hang on to that. She gets a very sad face. And so invariably, Noni gives in and gives her the little treasure. It's funny what we do, her and I. Fun, all good fun. And so these are some of the things that I went through. I don't know if other people have these little treasure boxes, but they're just so much fun to have and tuck little things in there. And one of them I had some little hummingbird feathers. I had given that to one of my granddaughters, but just some beautiful things. But anyway, also, now that I'm caught up, I can work on my needle book that I had shared in the last video, and I just started sewing this down. I ironed the little kitten on, and I started to do some stitching, so I'll have time to work on that before the next prompt and in between quilts. So thanks again for watching, and wishing you many blessings. Bye for now.